If it's the 4th day of February, is it too late to do my January reading roundup? That's actually a question I would like to know the answer to. So if you could answer in the comments, that would be great. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to do my roundup. The first book I finished in January was Another Woman's Husband by Gill. This has been a really, really fun novel to read. Well, I say fun, not the topic, because it deals with Wallis Simpson and, in terms of me using fun and saying not really, the death of Princess Diana. But the historical fact is really, really interesting and, dare I say, fun. Wallis Simpson here is as she is in many people's perspectives, because it's kind of difficult to change the facts that we've got that aren't very good. But Gill has done a really, really good job of making her someone you want to read about, even if you can't relate to her or connect to her. So that narrative is really good. And yes, the second narrative is in the days after Princess Diana's death. And the narrative itself focuses on a couple who witnessed the goings on there. So this has been a good read. Highly recommend it. Next up was Amy Jordan's The Dark Hours, a thriller that I got from the publisher for Interview. So this book looks at retired Detective Inspector Julia Hart, both in 1994 and 2024. So it's a very up and to the minute novel. I was going to say up and coming there. Yeah, that doesn't work, does it? So in 2024, Julia is enjoying her retirement and she just wants a nice, quiet life with her dog. But she is called back to serve in the police force in Ireland. This is an Irish novel by an Irish author, because a big case that she solved in 1994 now has echoes in the present with a case that the police are trying to solve now. So she doesn't want to do it. She goes back. And so we hear what happened in 1994 and we hear what's happening now. And so there's a lot of sexism in this book, Julia being a woman police officer in the 1990s. And we see those kind of ripples today on her personality and the things that she thinks about. We also hear about, obviously, the cases that I don't really want to go into in order to not spoil it for you guys. But basically, it's a serial unaliver sort of case. I highly recommend this book. I've said it already. If this book ends up in my favourites for 2025, I will not be surprised. But I'm not calling it now because it's far too early in the year. So tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, she stuck with it. She went through it. She read it bit by bit and she finally finished it. So the last quarter of this book, I have to say, was absolutely phenomenal. Really, really incredible, very emotional. And it did make up for the fact that I did find the main two characters just really emotionless. There was just nothing really for me, I found personally, to latch onto with them at all. I didn't need to find them relatable. I didn't need to connect with them, but I wanted to want to read about them at least. And I didn't ever get that at all, not even at the end. The end concerns someone else, or at least that was the part of the ending that I enjoyed. So yeah, mixed feelings about this book. And objectively, I would probably rate this book at like a 4 or 4.5 out of 5. Subjectively, I would say 3, just because there is a lot of it where you're spending time with these characters that are quite mundane and dull. I do think it's brilliant that Gabrielle Zevin has got a character in here who people actually call the NPC, the non-playable character. And he is actually the one that has emotion in this book. I think that's amazing. So I don't want to talk about it any further in case you haven't read it. This is one for gamers. I think gamers will possibly find it a bit difficult because of the lack of emotion of the two main characters. And I do say that speaking with experience because I am a gamer myself. But I would recommend it for that last quarter because, yes, that last quarter is superb. A book that I didn't finish in January, but I have been reading it extensively in that month is Orlando Ortega-Medina's Emerald Road. So I am including that in today's reading roundup. So this is a potential thriller, and I say potential because I don't know yet. All of his other books are, what am I saying? But this one may or may not be. And it is a prequel to his previous novel, The Fitful Sleep of Immigrants. I'm very much enjoying this, and I absolutely do plan to finish it by the end of February. And that is the books I read in January. Do let me know in the comments what you read and particularly what you enjoyed the most and any of them you think I should read.